keep California cowgirls from vanishing.
Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show, training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Jumping at liberty to music, making our Morgan horses our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles area. Semi on the big steps. Morgan horse Sadie doing obstacles rainlessly.
Semi drives a cart. Sadie pulls a log. Sadie learns to pull a cart. Miniature zebu heifer Susie learns to drive a cart. Bull Rusty learns to pull a harrow. Using various moving objects to follow, we will show you how we continue to train our horses to rate a moving object at different speeds. Short introduction of what we're going to be doing in this show about following a moving object, that is rating a moving object at various speeds. This is Firecrest Easter Eve, and Brianna, my helper, is going to first ask Eve just to follow her without facing her a short distance in this direction, turn around and come back here. And I'm going to discuss some principles. Go ahead. Now, obviously my ranch versatile horses here are led around a lot, besides just being ridden, so this is no problem, even though we've got a bull standing right here. Eve is sacked out, not concerned about. Okay, now Brianna, what I want you to do is stop. Step out in front of Eve, and with about as much lead line, ask her to follow you. You step backwards down the pathway, and you look at her. A horse is much more inclined to not be concerned if you're not looking at them. But you can see that Eve is not concerned with following a moving object, whether it's looking at her or not. If it's a biped, can you kind of jog a little bit, move a little faster? It's quite amazing when you see a horse like Eve do this and not blink an eye, to see a horse that gets very concerned about following a moving object like this, especially if it's facing them. We're just showing you ultimately what the objective is in rating a moving object. And today we're also going to try to rate this ATV out here on what we call the east-west track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Brianna to stand where she is. I'm going to keep the camera on her and west of her down the driveway, and because we don't have another camera operator today, I'm just going to leave the camera on and tell you what I'm doing, and in a moment you'll see me. And Brianna, what you're going to do is When I go down the driveway with the ATV, you're going to turn around and face me and follow me. So she's being sacked out to the ATV again. She's being asked to lead just like she was without the ATV. Then on the way back, I'm going to make a U-turn down there at the end just before the gates, which, by the way, in the future we can open the gates and have a really long path. I'm going to make a U-turn, and coming back, I want you to do it backwards. In other words, facing her. And we're going to see, we really don't expect any trouble at all, but we're going to see if there is any problem rating the ATV in that manner. Now I'm walking over to the ATV, I'll put it in forward motion, and you'll see me in a moment. Okay, follow me. Try to keep up. And then on the way back, I'll go a little slower so you can go backwards. Okay, and I'm going to stop here and stop her. No problems getting Eve to rate this ATV, and I was going at a pretty quick pace. You notice the driveway here, which is covered with sand and a little bit of grass growth, is plenty hard, even in this winter weather, to allow the ATV to traverse without having any kind of friction problems. We're going to teach, or remind my horses, all three of them, Eve, Sadie, and Sammy, how to rate a moving object at different speeds.
Eve practices rating the electric bike.
And Brianna's in the saddle, in her Australian saddle. We've got the double reins on Eve in case she starts getting excited. Double reins are a really good training tool to keep vertical flexion and to aim to collection. Now, my husband stands out here because he's the bike rider. We haven't fired up this electric bike in a long time. I just want to make sure that it will work and that you will see what our plan is with Eve and my other horses here at Minmore Farms. Okay, stand whenever you're ready. We've had this bike in our breezeway charging up. It is an electric bike. Now watch Eve, she's seeing it go by, but Eve has worked with this bike many times in the past. She's my rope horse. We practice roping with it. We want to make sure we could do a good U-turn, that the footing is good. Good. Yeah, let her see it. Come towards you. Good. This is a kind of a sacking out of Eve with the electric bike. And it looks like the electric bike is working. Stan, can you stop for a minute after your U-turn? Go ahead. That's all right. Just make sure we can do a U-turn over there. Being careful not to go off the step. There's a step right there where he is. Knowing where our path is. And then come on back here. And tell me, Stan, if you would, did you use the electric bike part of it at all? Or were you just pedaling?
Yeah, I used it a lot because somebody left it in the high gear, so it would have been hard to pedal up here.
Okay. And did you put it down into the proper gear?
No, it was working okay if I used a combination of pedaling and electricity.
Okay, and why is it buzzing? Technological questions?
I don't know.
Okay, what I'm suggesting is if you want to develop a training tool like this, get yourself an electric bike. And on the back of it, I had my handyman install some metal brackets. I'm going to pick up the camera and show it to you closer, to which I attached my roping horns. And I use this electric bike at a much faster speed than I can use the ATV as a training tool for roping. All right, now the next step is, just as we did yesterday with Eve and the ATV, is for Brianna to follow the electric bike. And then, if all goes well, which I anticipate it will, the electric bike is going to come towards you. And that's going to be even more challenging. And all we want to do is make sure that Eve is not stressed by it. Okay, Stan, if you could take the same route, and not too fast, because we don't want to challenge Eve with a lot of speed today. Good, nice, Brianna, nice smooth turn. We were working Eve in the arena before we came back here. And remember, this is This is trail obstacles course. We do everything we do ultimately in realistic setting. Good. And we're on my east-west path. Okay, Stan, slow down. Watch it, Stan. Okay. Because Eve didn't rate, did she?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. And that's what the objective is here. Eve has to learn, and she just doesn't know it yet. And it's been a long time since I've roped with her using this electric bike, that when the electric bike slows down, she's to slow down, and when it speeds up, she's to speed up, and when it stops, she's to stop at approximately the hip of this training tool. So Stan, can we do it again? And on the way back, go as slow as you can so that Brianna can ask Eve to rate it at a slow pace, which would be the safest thing to do in this session.
Okay, I should say you don't really need an electric bike for this situation. I put it down to a normal gear, turned off the electricity, and it works just fine.
It depends how long you've been doing it and how fast you want to go. So we want to aim towards using the electric version of this bike so that we can pick up speed and work for as long as we want without getting worn out, because it's not going to be just on this short piece of track here on the east side of Minmore Farms. It's going to be on the whole track eventually. Okay, another challenge. And so now he's not even using the handle to make it go fast. Good. Now your job, Brianna, is just to make her understand that she's to stay to the left of the hip. Back her up now. Good, good. And then Stan, try to go slow and give her a moving object to rate. Good. You're getting ahead, so try to back her up, Brianna. And Stan, if she's having trouble, she'll ask you to stop so that she can adjust. And that's what's great about a training tool. The real cow won't stop if you ask it to. Very nice. Much better, much better. All right, here's what I want you to do as the final challenge today for Eve is, Stan, you stay there. Brianna, you go to the other end of the path and slowly approach while Stan slowly approaches you. We want to make sure she doesn't get scared by this potential predator approaching her, which is always a lot scarier than following a potential predator, including, by the way, a dog. If a dog attacks you on the trail, try to turn around, face it, and make it realize that you're in charge so that it scampers away, and then your horse will be much easier to handle. Okay, Stan. We're going to watch you go towards Brianna slowly. Notice that he's just pedaling this time again. Okay, now go towards Brianna, and Brianna's going towards him. Yeah, and Eve isn't blinking an eye. All right, Brianna, you go to the end, the other end, turn around. Stan, if you'd come a little faster this time, we just want to make sure that that speed will not scare Eve. So wait until Brianna's ready. Okay, and then if she goes by, fine, Brianna, then if you could turn around, either a U-turn or over the haunches and then follow him, that'll be the end of our lesson.
Okay.
And try to stop at the hip of the training tool, not past. And if she does go past, then adjust her position. Position is the name of the game here. Collection, vertical flexion, softness is the way we're going to get into position. Okay, Stan, we're ready. And follow. And then once he stops, you stop. Okay, and what you want to do now is get back in position and stop her with her head facing the simulated cow. And if you do have to do a one-range stop, try to do it in the direction of the simulated moving object, because a horse should never turn away from a cow. Well, we're going to want to do that whole exercise again. So Brianna, if you'd go back to the west end with Eve. So you'll probably meet him up about halfway on the path, and then you're going to try to go around into the other direction, either with a U-turn or over the haunches. Ultimately, it will be over the haunches, but that's another subtask we're working on. I was just showing Brianna in the arena how to do some rollbacks. Okay, looks like Eve is ready. Stand. Now this is a driveway covered with sand, but not too deep, so you can see the rubber tires are working just fine on it. Soon they will meet. And slow down, Stan. Good. Good, Brianna. Okay, back up a little bit, Brianna, because she's going too far ahead. And turn your...
I can't get control right now.
Oh, okay. She's having a little trouble getting control, so you know what? Okay, try not to lean down when you're doing your one rein stop. Okay, I will get up in the saddle if I have to. We'll try it one more time, but if we fail, then I think I should get up in the saddle and make her understand. I know Eve a little better than Brianna does. Okay, so now you come to this end, Brianna. What happened when you felt you couldn't get control?
She was just trying to run through and go home.
Okay, okay. Okay, so anticipate that she'll try that again and try to bump her away from the direction she's pulling you. Bump her away, get her focus. Use your legs and your direct rein. And Stan, if you could go a little slower. Notice that Brianna does have spurs on, and so do I, in case I have to get in the saddle. They're an important tool when you're working cattle. One rein stop. And can you come towards her? Slowly. Okay, and Brianna's going to go around, so slow. Good. Much better rating. A little farther back, Brianna. Hold her. Bump her back. Good. Good. She slowed down. And let's leave well enough alone. If he stops, you stop. Stan, can you stop? Perfect. A good place to say we've finished our interim success objective today, and we're going to do a whole lot more of it, because the name of the game here is repetition, patience, softness, lightness, and have a lot of fun while you're doing it, and ultimately when you've learned how to do it. And cow work, for me, is the most fun of all.
Sadie practices rating the ATV and the electric bike with horn attachment.
Sadie to our moving objects, first from the ground, then from the saddle. And here are our moving objects in reverse order. Here's the electric bike with the roping steer attachment, the horns attachment, because eventually we want all three horses to take a rider to the horns and allow a rider to throw a loop. Now Ryan is on the ATV, and we're on the east-west track, but on a different part of it today. So Ryan, try to center the ATV in the driveway. We got to worry about how deep is the sand. You can see here we had some problems with the tires. And Ryan is going to go forward slowly, and you just walk with him. Okay? So walking past this potentially spooky object, this electric bike with the roping horns on it, Katie's going to walk Sadie past it and follow Ryan. So Ryan, as soon as Katie gets past the e-bike with Sadie, we've got a long 12-foot yacht rope lead line on her. Then you're gonna go very slow. Let Sadie follow you and Katie follow you. You're gonna do a U-turn at the manure bins. See, we're letting Sadie follow this potentially spooky object. If she's following it, she's going to be much braver than if it is coming at her or following her. On the way back, we'll let it follow her. Okay, here the ATV is following Sadie. And she's looking, her ears are up, she's kind of looking out of the sides of her eyeballs, but you can see that she has a relaxed posture. Next, we're going to try the very same drill, but Katie's going to get in the saddle. All right, here goes Sadie with Katie in the saddle, following the ATV at a relatively slow pace, no stress, resistance free. Then on the way back, we'll let Ryan on the ATV follow Sadie. Okay, now the ATV's behind her making some noises. She's listening, her ears are turning to hear it. No problem. Okay, next we're going to try the same thing. We're not even going to get off the saddle unless there's agitation with the e-bike. We're going to do it with the e-bike slowly. The e-bike with the roping horns attached. And the roping horns I made here at Minmore Farms, they are simply a craftsman reorganized lawn sweeper with some horns attached. I bought a lawn sweeper that didn't work for what I bought it for, so I used it as an attachment for practicing roping. Here we go with the electric bike. He's pedaling right now. It does make a clanking noise. Let's see what Sadie says about it. If he wants to use the electric impulsion, he'll just turn his handlebars. This is just a plain old e-bike. Sadie's doing fine. Tomorrow, we're going to try to do this same thing with Sammy, but we're going to be carrying a rope. Okay, now circle once, circle. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, let Ryan follow you. If all goes well coming back, we'll pick up speed and ask Katie to keep Sadie in position as if she were being asked to be a rope horse. And we'll explain that as soon as we start that exercise. Good. Okay, now we're going to try it a little faster. And I've given Katie instructions to keep Sadie to the left of the horns so that if we were swinging a lariat, we'd have a chance of catching two horns. Okay, whenever you're ready, Ryan, he might use the electric impulsion this time to pick up a little speed. There we go. Pick up a little trot. And a position is very important, so I told Katie just to ask Ryan to stop if she needs to change position or slow Sadie down. Sadie will eventually understand what her job is, where she should go to help the rider with the lariat catch the cow. She's doing very well considering she's never followed this roping mechanism. This mechanical roping steer. Very good. Now we're going to go the full length of the east-west track at a trot, a good pace. We're not going to pick up a canter today. It's too much to ask on this first session. Sadie's doing well. She's over there in the Uke tree area and the obstacles area, a lot of distractions, but watch her body language, doing very well. Now we're going back down the other end of the east-west track where it's sunny, less trees, less wind. The entire time Katie is trying to keep Sadie in position for ultimately letting a rider rope the horns that are attached to that electric bike. Now you see, this is a training tool, so she wasn't quite in position. She asked Ryan to slow down. We asked him to keep an eye on her. If there's trouble, to stop. Good position, good body language, good transitions, good speed. And that's what we wanted to do today in this session with Sadie. Now I'm going to ask Ryan to come back here and I'm going to show you how we're going to use the lariat pretty soon after we've worked on a little bit more repetition of raiding without roping. A short introduction on the lariat and a short introduction for Sadie to remember that a lariat can make some swooshing noises, that she'll see it, that she may feel it. Okay, and what we're going to do as we get all three of my horses better raiding this roping machine, we're going to swing some loops from it. And I have some programs in the past on the lariat, but this is the Honda. This is a breakaway Honda. It's plastic. If you pull hard, instead of squeezing or strangling your object, it will break away. Okay, and these are the coils. This is my loop. It takes a lot of practice to be able to rope even on the ground, and to rope from a horse is yet another step up of challenge. I think that in my 30 years of doing ranch horse versatility, roping has been the biggest challenge. And I do like to use a breakaway Honda because unless there's a reason to pull slack on a moving object that's alive, I'd rather not strangle them or have them feel the pressure of the lariat. We're going to form the loop. And I'm roping from the wrong angle here, but I'm doing this on purpose so that Sadie can watch and hear. And I have to make sure I don't hit her in the face. And then eventually, when you do catch, as I just did, two horns, I will wrap the lariat around the horn of my saddle. We will use a Western saddle, a roping saddle for this, and ask Sadie or Sammy or Eve to hold slack. And you see she's getting a little bit upset right now, so that I can break this Honda away from the lariat, and she will feel the pull of the moving object. And that's all for today. www.urbancowgirlchannel.com. A little bit more ranch horse versatility.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty, and Susie. Heifer calf Sela. For more information, www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.